Hello, it's Peter, and I want to share with you one last thought for the evening. Today I watched a video, and the individual was talking about when you get really successful, people get jealous of you. And I want to share with you that the only race really running is the race you run against yourself. That's the only game you ever play. Now, if someone else is talking about you, you should look at that as being an honor, since most people are always thinking about themselves. So if someone spends the time talking about you, thinking about you, and also being jealous of you, guess what? You should be honored. A really good friend of mine, when he was getting divorced, had the opportunity to speak with a really brilliant sage, an older man who had gone through divorce. And he said, Al, people are going to speak about you. That's what they're going to do. That's what they need to do. It has nothing to do with you. It's something they need to do. It only becomes your problem when you make it your problem. So just remember, nothing's ever personal. Whatever someone does or you perceive they do, if it really is detrimental, it's more detrimental to them, not to you, unless you make it your problem. One of the most beautiful things about life is the first half of life, according to Carl Jung, is we're looking outside ourselves for validation. So that is through education, that is through people we're dating, that's people who we're friends with, that's our credentials, our house. Everything is about accumulation, and it really has to do with our ego. So when you get offended by what someone does, really what you have to do is say, how does this affect me? And is it really something they did that was so bad? Or is it my ego that, God forbid, someone's speaking about me in a not so great way? And I'm going to share with you that the second half of life, according to Carl Jung, is no longer looking out there for validation. Looking out there whether people like you or dislike you, or whether you have more or less than the other person. It's about going within and actually coming to terms with the experiences that you've had. And there's such richness. Now, there's one word that I love beyond all words, and it came to human conscious 3,500 years ago. Now, something is not real unless we find a word to describe it. And this word came from ancient Sanskrit in India. And the word is Maya. And what does Maya mean? It means illusion. It says everything's an illusion. What I think is out there, well, if you take Psych 101, they show your cones in your eyes and they say it's your perception out there really is being processed in here. So it's an illusion. And we can change that, our perception, at any time. And we can become co-creators for our own experiences. The other definition for Maya is actually we compare. We compare ourselves to other people, other things outside of us. Why? Because that cements the illusion that we have of reality. We can change our reality. And I'll leave you with a really incredible story that actually, or a tale that actually, I hope you retell it, because I don't own it and I didn't come up with it. There was once a man who wanted to change the world, and he went and tried to change it, and he found out he couldn't. Then he decided that he wanted to go and work on changing his country. He thought that was easier, and he was not able to perform that. Then he wanted to change his family because he said, well, at least I can go and work on these people. Didn't work. And finally, he turned the mirror on himself, and he said, maybe I can change myself. And slowly but surely, he changed. And he found the magic elixir that was eluding him all those years when he was trying to change the world, his nation, his community, his family. By him changing himself, changing his perception, what ended up happening is the way he perceived his family changed. The way he perceived his community changed. The way he perceived his nation changed. And the way he perceived the world changed. If you change yourself, you will change your world. It's not about what happens out there. It's how you choose to interpret it. If you do have problems with individuals, I wanted to share something with you. There are over 7.5 billion people walking this earth. According to Dunbar's number, which we talked about earlier, you only need 150 of those people to have the highest quality life. And you can become conscious of those relationships. And I'll just leave with you the 3 questions I ask when I'm determining to invite someone on my journey, especially in business. And it's this: does the person share the same values? Well, I will only know that if I know what my values are. If I have actually taken the time to figure out what's important to me, what's meaningful to me. So do we share the same values? Can we work together? Our personality is enough in sync that we can actually be productive and create. I love working with people who want to create, build. I want my brain to the neurons to go off. And I know everybody else wants that, because that's how we grow. Our brains have elasticity. We can learn new tasks, and that's what makes life enjoyable. And lastly, is there opportunity. So if we share the same values and we can work together, I'm going to promise you in this new world, we'll find opportunity. That being said, when I was looking at that video where this individual was talking about there's going to be people who become jealous of our successes, really to me what that means is we all have fear. And it's not that we're experiencing their jealousy. We're scared of being found out and to be failures. And I got to share with you, I think the best thing that can ever happen to any of us is we fall down, we get beat up, our egos are completely torn apart. Because what we discover is we discover that who we are, who the people we want in our lives, and really what our purposes are. If everything is good and we never fail, guess what? That is hell on earth. I'm going to leave you with one last story. It's my favorite Twilight Zone. There was this criminal, he dies. He finds himself in this place, and this Mr. Jordan comes and he says, anything that you want, you can have. So he's able to womanize, and he's gambling, he wins, everything is great, he's having a great time, but after a while, he gets really sad. So he rings the bell and Mr. Jordan comes and he says, Mr. Jordan, you know, it's not fun anymore because everything I know is going to happen and everything turns out exactly what I want, and I'm having these riches and I'm having these women and I'm having all this great time, and you know, and when I rob a bank, I know I'm going to get away with it. And Mr. Jordan says to him, well, would you like me to make it more difficult? And he said, the problem is I would know that. So Mr. Jordan said, well, I can do that for you, but I can't really do anything else. So this criminal who's in this place, who's getting everything and knows exactly what the future is, and everybody likes this person and never faces any difficulties in this world, turns to Mr. Jordan, who he thinks is an angel, and he says, Mr. Jordan, I don't think I'm meant for this place. I'm meant for the other place. Mr. Jordan ends and says, who says this isn't the other place? Have a great night. If we're not friends, please click, follow me, like me, share me, and make a comment. Have a wonderful evening, and it's been great sharing.